In this video, I'm going to talk about how to use best bets in Funnelback. What it is basically it's a feature that appears at the top of key search results that you manually create, and essentially you're curating a list of links with visually prominent kind of especially formatting that you could add as well. So, for example, if you could link things that are outside of the My Hallam space. So, for example, if it was something to do with emergencies, you could report things like you could add links to 999 and other hospital and emergency services, etc. Whereas you wouldn't be able to curate those kind of links to the top of the page without using this feature. They do require maintenance, so unfortunately, they don't self update, but they do have, they're usually quite visually prominent, so it makes them stand out from everything else. So, inside the Funnelback dashboard, to find these, you'd go to Optimize and then click on Best Bets. And then here, you can see a list of what's already been created. So sometimes you might be asked to create a new best bets, and then other times you might be going in here. So this is part of the site optimization. You'd check the tuning, and once you finish that, you come over here and you make sure that any of these links and any of the triggers, for example, the keywords, make sure basically that these links are they do work, like nothing is, you don't have any broken links. You could also make sure that the information on here is up to date. So for example, if this may have said like a room number or something like that, then you'd remove that because that's no longer relevant anymore. Everything is on Apps Anywhere. But yeah, things like that. You just make sure that this text is fine, and this is gonna. These are the URLs that you want to display. So it's fairly self-explanatory. It's basically it guides you through the whole thing. So when you search for these key terms, so geometrics, for example, then in the search results at the very top, you will see a title that says "Access Geometrics via Apps Anywhere." You will also have a link to Apps Anywhere, and you also have a description that you could also stylize with HTML if you need to. And essentially, what it will show you is how it will look like on the search result. So if we go onto the search icon and search for geometrics, what you will see is that the first thing you will have at the top is the access to geometrics via Apps Anywhere that we have created on Funnelback. So it's exactly the same thing that's been placed at the top. Just coming back into best bets details. So if, for example, you made some changes here and you wanted to save and publish, you'd hit the save and publish button. If there wasn't anything else that you needed to do here, you would just go back to the list. So from this list over here, you have some options. You could manually publish this way, or you could unpublish things if you know you no longer need it. You could always copy things, and you could always delete things from the list. You've got the search function over here as well. So for example, if Brian asked you to look for a specific thing that's been curated to the top, you could always filter for the results that you want. At the moment, there isn't really a lot. There's only 17 that's been created, so it's kind of easy to go through. It's not too bad. But for example, if you had something like 200 best bets, the search feature would actually be quite useful when you're trying to find things. One thing to note is, so you can see I have used a specific formula for certain things on here. So essentially, this is just a very simple regular expression. So, just to explain what regular expressions are, Brian is probably better at explaining this than me, but the way I understood it is that you can have a star next to a word, and essentially, if it's got any other type of like any other word variation, it will automatically pick it up in the search result. So, for example, if you've got statistics or statistical, or if you have statistically or whatever like comes after statistic, it will pick it up. And I've just noticed this is actually wrong. So get rid of the S, and then now it makes sense. So math star, you could have mathematics, you can have maths, you could have other variations of maths. And then once you're ready for this one, I'm just going to save and publish because I saw the error in this one. But yeah, so when you modify something, it will appear at the very, very top. And you could always filter the list to make sure that you're updating, you're not like going through the stuff that you've already updated. So you go through the list of things that hasn't been updated. So now I'm just going to show you how to just go through the list and find the things that potentially need updating. So one of the first things that I've noticed is that we have a best bet for Zoom and Collaborate, which isn't helpful anymore because we don't have either of these anymore. So for this particular one, I would be tempted to just unpublish this because that information obviously is no longer correct. What I could now potentially do is do something related to Microsoft Teams. So what I have done is I have edited the old Best Bets page, and I've added, instead of Zoom and Collaborate, I've also added MS Teams and the variation you've got in Microsoft Teams. So with the regular expression, you're able to kind of use this to just say team, and then if it's teams, it will pick it up as well as the word if it was just team. So I have also done is I've updated the title to display at the top and added the new link for the Microsoft Teams page. And what I have also done for the HTML is I've added a link to the Microsoft Teams, and I've also added a link to IT support for people who need assistance with Microsoft Teams. So the way it will preview is it will have the link for the article. Microsoft Teams in the description now is a link, and also you've got contact IT support, which is also a link. So I'm going to save and publish, and that should be now live. Another interesting feature when you're going through these best bets and things, you are often using the IT support, you are using the Helm search to look for things. So, what I have done is I've actually looked for IT support. And interestingly, none of the best bets or nothing appears at the top of the screen when you're looking for IT support. It comes up with architecture, which isn't really helpful for your students. So, in this kind of instance, you would want to create a new best bet. So, you'd go back onto the Funnelback best bets. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you've got the add new button. So, when you click that, I'm just going to pause the video while I fill all these in and then I'll show you. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created something for IT support. So I have used some trigger words using the regular expression. There are other options available to you. You can use substring matches and you can use all words must match or exact matches, etc. But I prefer using regular expression because you could do advanced kind of search key terms. So, for example, with IT help or tech support, you could have like technology support, you can have different variants of tech. And also for tech help, you can have a variation of that. Notice also, like for IT service, it could be so many other ways as well. So that's for the trigger keywords. In terms of the title, and then I have provided the URL for the IT help article. And I've also created a list of bullet points, so different ways in which they can reach help. So instead of clicking through so many different pages and things, just this basically just summarizes some of the things that they might need on a regular basis. So this is what I mean by anything that requires like urgent kind of support. For example, anything that causes friction or frustration for your students, you want to have the information as quickly as possible. So technical support and IT help is probably one of the really good examples of creating something like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and add and publish. And now it's created. What I probably want to also do is I would probably want to go into curator or synonyms to kind of optimize that IT support search a little bit further, because architecture has got nothing to do with IT support at all, or even software engineering. So, what I would want to do is I would want to bring up search results, so bring them higher in the search results, content or articles that are more relevant to IT support than having architecture and software engineering. And I will cover that in a separate video. So, essentially, that's what you do with best bets. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or anything like that, please speak to Brian. He will be able to explain things that you're unsure of as well.